everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Have to speak up, I'm talking over a rainstorm back here, but anyway, this is going to be update 57, I believe, and show you what I've been doing. So, as usual, let's get into it. Okay, everybody, I've been working underneath here, and I was just going to show you, I made a little stick diagram of my track pieces, and then I numbered each one of the blocks. And what this will help you do is this will help you number these wires underneath so that if you have trouble in a particular block, you'll know which block you're looking at. For instance, as you might be able to see, that's block number 4. Of course, these are all wadded up because I leave them long in case I got to redo them. And 12 and 14 there. Anyways, they're all numbered as to where they go back there and around. And then as you can see, I've got it all tied up as much as I want to tie it up for right now. And the red wire's all hanging down we went over before, and as you guys know that use Unitrack, those are all my turnouts. Those will all be hooked to DS64s at some time. I don't know when I'll get around to putting the DS64s in there, but you can see that I removed the punch down block, and if I go over here you can see that I have a bunch of turnouts hanging down, but all my block wires to another location here are all tied up nice and neat with extra slack. Well, to me, nice and neat. And then I did have to put another reversing circuit in the entrance to the engine facility because the engine facility track is within the block that reverses on my reversing loop. So anyway, I had to put in another reversing circuit there so that I could reverse if the polarity was incorrect coming into the engine facility. But anyway, pretty neatened up. I was going to try to get in here. You can see that I've soldered all those connections to the bus line. So pretty much as far as wiring, with the exception of the DS64s, it's all done under here, and it's neatened up as much as I'm going to neaten it up for now until we get them in there. So let's go up on top and see what's happening. Okay, since the last video, maybe it was in the last video, I don't know. But nevertheless, I got that number 6 in finally, and got the track back there. I may have had it in on the last video. I've gone through, with the exception of these two pieces of track, which I had to replace to get my turnout control for the automatic loop working. Everything has been stained black and is ready for ballasting. I got all the sidewalks in, all the concrete in here. I had a little high spot here which I've worked down by running the track cleaner over it, and I'll go and touch that up with concrete paint. You can see that I got the whole base in for this building here, and I have stoops for these buildings put in. And I'll go around the other side of this building here in a minute and show you what's been happening. But anyways, so that kind of stuff is basically roughed in. I need to do the ballasting. I also realized that when I looked into this building here, the engine building, that it had no interior in it. And you can see what those walls look like here, unless you put something in there. So I went ahead and put some very thin styrene, sheeted it with that inside. And then I put the U-girders or U-channels in there to dress up the inside. Haven't painted this building yet, obviously, but it's all ready to go, to be painted, I should say. And I'm thinking about a light tan with a dark brown trim, but I don't know that for certain yet. The water tank needs to be painted. The fuel tank needs to be painted. And as I said, I've washed the whole area with black so that whatever I put down on the ground, the dirt won't show through. The next thing is, and I'll show you here in a minute, I have some fencing that I'm going to use along the back over there where I painted in the coal piles. I also need to highlight the coal piles a little bit, but nevertheless, Back in this area, right up against the fence there, you can see that I have tape in there, and that needs to have some kind of plaster put in it and then colored before I put the fence along there. And way over there, I've got to put fence in. So let me show you the other side of the flooring building and show you the fencing I'm using. Okay, here we are on the other side, the opposite side of the Coyote flooring, which is going to be a flooring manufacturer building. I think I told you guys it was going to be an appliance manufacturer, but it's going to be a flooring manufacturer. So anyways, since I mounted this thing up on cork and I have the stoop done here, I had to slope this up to the garage doors. So I basically cut that out, cut that piece of roofing out, and went ahead and seamed it in there. I have yet to go over it with grimy black and match it in. And I'm also going to use some Arizona powder along these edges here to blend them in. Pardon me, to blend them in. But that's what's happening on that side of the building. And I'm not sure about that water tank. I'm still undecided where that's going to go, but that might be a good spot. And here's the fencing that I decided to use. I actually forgot that they made fencing, but this is Monroe Models, and that's one fencing kit. There's about, I don't know, there's 2.5, 3 feet of fencing in there, and it's peel and stick. The posts and stuff are peel and stick to the fence itself, and then the fence is a rustic fence. And I think it'll look pretty good back there. I'm going to put it facing the opposite way. In other words, the posts facing outward. You know, something like that. Standing up, of course. So it gives it a little more aesthetic value. But I'll get to that eventually when I get the ground cover or the plaster down there in that groove first, so I can set the fence up on it. Now that I'm up here on top, I was kind of show you guys so we can see a little bit better. When I said that I numbered all these blocks and then I numbered the feeder wires coming from the blocks, as you can see, for instance, this lead right here, whoops, right there, which is right there on the map, is number 11. And what I did is I went in there with a meter and put a meter across it and then shorted the wire down below to make sure I had the right block, so that I know all these blocks are as they are numbered. Because once you go underneath, you start pulling wire, you're kind of guessing it to where they come up. Where it looks like they come up sometimes is not necessarily it. So I did verify all those. And I have also verified running a locomotive in here. So I've run a locomotive all over the place in here, and I was also mentioning that I had to put in that reverser. It's a DCC Specialties I think it's a PXR AR or something like that. Anyway, without going and looking, I don't know off the top of my head. It's DCC Specialties with the auto reverse. It's a block watcher, but it's not a block watcher, but it's a circuit breaker. But anyway, as you can see, I have insulators here, insulators here, insulators here. So basically, these two turnouts and insulators here are these two turnouts basically, and this little section right here are insulated from everything else. And what I had to do is I have a feeder coming down right here, and I had to put the reverser on this feeder right here because you never know what this polarity is going to be based on the way the locomotive is coming in here. So putting the reverser on here made it work, so it reverses the polarity here so that it gets in and runs on all these tracks like it's supposed to. These tracks are not tied to the reverser, by the way. They're tied directly to the DCC bus. So anyway, I suppose that for now, until I start doing some scenery work, I think the next thing is going to be paint this building, the engine house. Will probably be next, And I'll wait till I get some little bit of scenery and painting done before I do another update, I hope. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this update, and you can see what's going on, what I've been doing, the part I hate the worst, working underneath the layout, but assuming I can get some DS64s, that may be over for a little while until I get those DS64s for those turnouts, but nevertheless, as usual, guys, thanks for watching.